The image effects geometry plugin allows you to create transitions between images here. So what we're going to do first is grab some images and put them as subcontainers of our image effects. So we'll go into our server here and just look for an image that you want to use. So we're going to drag one of them here and we'll go find a second image here that we want to use, and we'll just drag that image up there as well. We'll click on our image effects plugin here to go into the editor. First thing I know about this plugin is that there's a lot of settings within here, and I'm going to pull it out and put it down into our window down here just so that we can access all of the functions within the image effects plugin here. So first I'm going to go into our image over here on the left, and what I'm going to say is load from scene tree. Now I'm going to go all the way over to our control tab here, and I'm going to set an animation just to set the progress of this image effects. That way it'll be easier for us to adjust it using some of the settings here. So I'm going to rewind my timeline, set a keyframe, and I'm going to advance this progress percentage up to 100. And you know it will work when you see that little image flip there. So I'm going to go ahead and just scale this up in our transformation axis, and we'll be able to see these images better. So we have an animation here. If I just advance our timeline, all you can see right now is that these two images cut. So the animation is there. We just need to go into our image effects and start playing with all these settings to get where we want. So first, our image here, that's where we loaded our images from the scene tree here. Our next tab here is the geometry, and we have our type here. We have tiles, mesh, triangles, random triangles. So for tiles, if you were to use the tile setting here, you could come in and tell it how many tiles you want on the X and the Y. You have spacing here for your tiles. And then also you have a border option down here that you can border your tiles and choose a color for that border as well. If you don't want tiles, you can just reset all of these settings here. So we have a mesh setting, we have a tessellation, and spacing that we can adjust as well. There's a triangle and random triangles too. And once we get our animation going here a little bit smoother, we can come back into these settings and try them out. We have a trigger tab here. Once we change it to the trigger setting, we also get a whole new set of options down here, or tabs. So we have a clock setting that we can come in and make adjustments in. We have a domino setting, and we can set our domino fashion here. We have a noise setting if you want to add some noise to it, some random, and an image, and some static. So we're going to set ours on clock. Now we also have an effect tab here, and when we click on that, again, we have a whole other set of options here. We have a way to interpolate our keyframes here, a linear and a smooth. We have a position, and if you want to turn one of these axes on, you just highlight it here, and then it opens up the little numerical box where you can adjust your value. There's a rotation value that works the same way. You just turn on one of your axes here, and then you can choose the amount you want the rotation on. Same with the scaling and alpha setting as well. Now every time you make an adjustment, you want to come in and play your timeline here, and you can see when we do that we have an animation on here using our settings. Now that you have it set up like this, you can start to come back into the other settings here. So for instance, we can come back into our geometry here and use our mesh setting instead of the triangles and see what type of effect we have. So we hit play again, and you can see the transition there. And if you want to adjust the mesh settings, you could, or you could change it to tiles and try a setting there. Now if we have it on our tiles and we increase the spacing between it and we hit play again, it's a completely different transition. And you could go across these tabs here and make subtle changes in each value that you're using, or try a different tab to see what it's doing. But the main gist of it is setting this progress percentage animation in the beginning, and then you can come in, play the animation, and then fool around with all of the different effects to see what they actually do.